In this lesson, we are going to look at slope, and we're going to find the slope of lines. So let's talk about what slope is. We look at it in terms of m equals rise over run. Here's our formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, and we're talking about slope of lines here. So a positive slope would be a slope that, and when you read slope on a graph, you read it from left to right like you're reading a book. It goes up to the right. And we have some examples here. So an example of slope in the form of a number m equals 4/5. They're both positive. In terms of a graph, your positive slope looks like this. Then we have negative slope, which goes down to the right. So an example here, m equals negative 7/8. You have a negative there. So this one's going to go downward, like you're sledding downhill. The other's like you're climbing upstairs. Okay, zero slope is going to be horizontal, like the horizon. The sun sets over the horizon. An example would be m equals 0 over any number. Let's say 4, which equals 0. And then a picture would be horizontal. Undefined would be vertical. An example here of undefined is when you have m equals your number over 0. If you put that in your calculator, you get an error because you cannot divide by 0. So this is called undefined. And this is when it goes straight up and down. So if you put a little stick figure at the top, he would end up just falling. There wouldn't be any walking or sliding there. So I want you to take a moment and look at 1 through 4 here on the bottom and try to decide if you think it's positive, negative, 0, or undefined. There's one of each. Let's go ahead and pause. Okay, so the first one would be positive. You have a positive slope. So I told you it's like reading a book from left to right. If I put my little guy, my little stick figure here on the left, he's walking upstairs up the hill. That's positive. You gotta use quite a bit of energy to get up that hill. Now, this one, if I put my little stick figure here, and he moves, it's no bueno. That's not gonna be good, okay? Because he can't move either direction without falling off the hill. So that one is undefined. Then if I put my little stick figure here, he's going to go sledding downhill real fast. It's negative. Then if I put my little stick figure on the left here, when he walks across, it's going to be 0. It's really kind of like when you're just walking, it takes less energy. Okay? 0 straight across, like walking on the floor. Now we're going to look at finding the slope of the line through 2 points. So here's your formula. Write it down. Find the slope of the line through 2 points. Okay? We're going to label the points x1, y1, x2, y2. Then we're going to substitute the value into the formula. Use the formula. We're going to write our answer then. And there are special cases. So if you have a number over 0, it's called undefined. And in your calculator, it will come up as error or can't divide by 0. That is different than if you have 0 divided by a number. That's going to equal 0, which is called a 0 slope. Okay, they're different. It's not just because they have 0 doesn't mean it's undefined. So let's start with some examples here. So the first one, we're going to start with our formula. I'm actually going to go back here and grab our formula because I don't have it on this page. I'll just go ahead and write it. Spending too much time. So M equals, you already have it on your page, but I need to write it y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So really what you need to do is to be very careful. Your x's go on the bottom, which is opposite than what our brain wants us to do. We usually would like to stack. But we're going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. And then we're going to put them into place. So y2 is 8, x1 is 1. We're going to subtract. Then I got y1 is 3, x1, 8. And then you're going to just work straight across. So 8 minus 3 is 5. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. So my slope here is negative 5/3. It is a negative slope because it has a negative sign there. Okay. Let's lay this on just a little bit different. I'm going to talk about Legos. We've all built Legos at some point in time or another. And when I build my Legos, I put the first one on the bottom, and let's say I'm making a green tower. I'm going to put my second green Lego right on top and keep clipping them onto the top. So that's what we do here. I'm going to go ahead and label so you see how that works. It's 2, 1, 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my first set, I'm going to put my first number on the bottom. Here's 6. My y that goes with it goes right over the top. And I'm going to do that with this set. It doesn't really matter which set you start with. You could start with this other set. I'm going to put my 3 on the bottom and my 1 that goes with it right over the top. They're a matching pair, they stay together. So this ends up equaling, again straight across, 10 minus 1 is 9, 6 minus 3 is 3, divide, you get 3, and it's positive, so it's a positive slope. It's going to go upward. Try another one. If you want to use the formula, you can feel free to use the formula. That's this formula here. It's at the top of your page. If I write it correctly here, I apologize. It's at the top of your page. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Notice I can kind of start with my basics and fill in from there. I have x1, y1, x2, y2. So 6 and 11. First number goes on the bottom. 2 and 5. First number goes on the bottom, second number goes right over the top. Subtract straight across. So I get 6 over 4. And I can simplify that to 3/2 in my calculator. That's a positive slope, is a positive number. And see, I was saying, hopefully you can go ahead and start this one and see how it goes. I'd like you to plug in x1, y1, x2, y2. But what I was saying is, if you flip-flop these, and let's say you put 4 and 12 first, that ordered pair, and then you put 9 and 7, first number on the bottom, I would get 5 over negative 5 which is going to be -1. That's going to be negative. You would have still gotten the same answer if you would have done 412 being x1, y1. It doesn't matter which order you put them in. It's going to change where your negative's at, but on the top or bottom, it doesn't matter. Okay, go ahead and pause and try these two. Okay, so 5 is going to be -1/3. 6 is going to be -11 over 5. You can have it like this if you need, or a -11 over 5. If you reversed, your sign is going to be on the opposite. You can pull it right out front also. Okay, let's try some more of these. Here's 7 and 12. Okay, so what I would like you to do is to go ahead and do this page. Actually, let's go ahead and we'll do 7 and 12. So pause, try, and then play. Okay, there's 7 and 12. 7 simplified to -2, which would make it a negative slope. 12, 0 divided by 0. You cannot have 0 on the bottom, which makes it undefined. Okay, try 8 and 13. Then pause and then replay. Okay, there's 8 and 13. 8 became -2 when you simplify, which makes it negative. 13 is 0 divided by 4. Plug that into your calculator, which gives you 0, so that's a 0 slope. Try 9 and 14. Pause and replay when you're done. Alright, number 9 is 17 over -4. Or -17 over 4, which makes it negative. Number 14, I got -12 over -18. Negative over negative makes it positive, so I get 2/3 when I simplify, so that's positive. Alright, try 10 and 15. Pause and then replay when you're done. Okay. So number 10, I get -4 over 0. You cannot divide by 0, which makes this undefined. So you'd have to write that undefined. Number 15, I got 8 over 12. I'm not done. I need to simplify just a little bit more. So when I simplify 8/12, I get 2/3, and it is positive. If you got negative over negative, it's positive. Okay, it looks like we got 2 more here. Go ahead and pause and try these 2. Alright, so these 2 both have 0s in the answer. Now this is where students get a little mixed up. I just wanted to reconfirm this. If you have 0 in the bottom, that's when you get undefined slope. That's the only time. You cannot divide by 0 anytime there's 0 in the bottom. It's called undefined. Now if I put this in my calculator, I'm going to get an error, or it'll say can't divide by 0. This one here, 0 divided by -4, my calculator gives me a 0. So my slope here is 0. Okay. And that's what we have for finding slope from 2 points.